Have you ever wondered how to command respect immediately, even if you're quiet? Tommy Shelby, John Wick, James Bond, these are all perfect examples of this. They are some of the most charismatic and respected characters of all time. The good news is you can use silence and a quiet personality to gain power, charisma, and command the respect of people around you, just like these characters do. You just need to know how. And in this video, I'm going to go over some of the best ways for you to use silence and a quiet personality to command the respect of people around you in seconds. But I will warn you, you need to stay to the end, because if you miss even one of these, you'll just come off awkward. Number 1, stop caring.
Happy or sad?
Sad.
Okay, but I warn you, I'll break your heart.
Already broken.
Will you go looking for her?
The reality is, if you care too much and you try to become a people pleaser in order to gain respect, nobody will ever respect you. Now, if you're quiet, it can be an advantage, because a lot of the time people just talk way too much. Now, truly letting go takes some time, but if you're quiet when there are people around you, you can use these next steps that I'm going to share with you to make it look intentional. It will come off like you're doing it on purpose, like you're doing it strategically in order to command respect, because you're not worried about seeking validation and worrying about what other people think. And now that you know that, your silence will be an advantage to you because it will be purposeful. Could you imagine Tommy Shelby or James Bond acting a fool, giving away secrets and information just because they keep talking because silence makes them uncomfortable? Definitely not. They keep their cards close to their chest, they're strategic, and they're purposeful. And from now on, so are you. And part of that strategy is number 2, be completely present.
If you want to lead something, start by saying, this is what I care about. This is what I want to do and why I think you should care about it and you should want to help.
Bill Clinton is one of the best examples of this. He was known for his charisma and his incredibly strong presence.
I have encountered a lot of setbacks. I lost 2 elections after I entered politics. I've had ferocious opposition where the whole strategy was to try to destroy me as a person. My mother died after I became president. I've had a lot of things that really hurt. But in the end, the great adventure of life is what you decide to do with it. We're all struggling mortals with fleeting lives who are trying to be right as often as we can and trying to live a life that amounts to something.
Easily one of the most charismatic people of our time.
I believe leaders are not just born, they are also made. And I hope everybody who watches this will say, what am I going to do to be a better leader?
People would say that when they were with him, they felt like they were the only person in the world, like they were absolutely important to him. And this is what you want to do. When he spoke with people, he was completely present. He listened intently, made eye contact, and made them feel special and important. And the reality is, people want to feel important. And nowadays, it's rare for you to go through a conversation without the person that you're talking to get distracted by their phone, by other people, by things around us, or even just trying to get in the next word in the conversation. So instead of trying to be like everyone else, be completely present. Make the person that you're talking with feel like they're the most important person in that moment. Now, part of staying present is number 3, listening intensely. This is a skill that Bill Clinton had that anyone can learn. As he was talking with someone, he wasn't worried about what was happening around him. He wasn't worried about how he was going to respond or what he was going to say. He was completely focused on listening and understanding what the other person was saying. And this is the key. Listen with the intent to understand, not to respond. This shows people that you are someone that deserves respect, because you're showing them respect by listening and understanding them, allowing them to feel heard and important. But just listening is nothing compared to this next one. Number 4, think deeply.
By the way, which one am I talking to? Who's the boss?
Well, I'm the oldest.
Clearly.
Are you laughing at my brother?
Right, he's the eldest, you're the thickest. I'm told the boss is called Tommy, and I'm guessing that's you, because you're looking me up and down like I'm a fucking tart.
I want to know what you want.
Notice how Tommy is so quiet when they're asked who the boss is. He's so comfortable in his power that he doesn't need to fill his ego or feed his ego by telling them who's in charge. It's often the quietest person in the room that has the most power and the most intelligence. He's not quiet because he's afraid to speak. He's quiet because he's listening, he's analyzing, processing, and strategizing. And in this clip, it's actually his silence that gives him away as the leader. If he truly has power and commands respect, he doesn't need to say a single word. You need to be like this. If you're going to be quiet, you need to be thinking deeply about meaningful things and be absolutely present in your silence. Part of Tommy Shelby's giveaway in that clip, along with his silence, is number 5, his body language. His body language is always relaxed and open with a confident demeanor. If you're quiet but sitting in the corner of the room, making yourself small and not be seen, this doesn't command respect. This shows weakness and insecurity, and it just makes it look like you're afraid to interact. So if you're going to be sitting quietly, use confident body language. Being a quiet person with this type of body language creates an air of mystery, and people will wonder who you are. And it's this mystery coupled with a strong demeanor that makes it so that you don't need to be loud in order to be heard and get attention. Now, Tommy Shelby is a great example of being quiet at the right times, but when he does speak, he's also ready with this next one. Know your enemy.
Thomas Shelby.
You blew up my pub.
Anger defeats fear. Good.
You blew up my pub.
Tommy has a reputation to uphold.
A reputation for not being scared of anything.
Tommy knows vital information going into this conversation so that he knows he doesn't need to be worried. This is part of his confidence. He knows he has nothing to worry about. And this ties back to someone that thinks deeply, strategizes, analyzes, and is always ready and prepared. Now, of course, you can't go into every situation like this, but if you can learn the skills of reading body language, understanding people, analyzing the words that they say, why they say those things, the way that they say them, so that you can understand people's underlying desires, fears, and maybe even insecurities, this will give you a major advantage over people when you're analyzing different situations. And having that kind of mindset will help you with number 7 as well, being non-reactive.
Not quite so stylishly. May I ask you where it is?
10 million was wired to your account in Montenegro, with a contingency for 5 more if I deem it a prudent investment. I suppose you've given some thought to the notion that if you lose, our government will have directly financed terrorism. What looks good? So you're telling me it's a matter of probability and odds? I was worried there was some chance involved.
Well, only if you assume the player with the best hand wins.
So that will be what you call bluffing.
You've heard the term. Then you'll also know that in poker you never play your hand. You play the man across from you.
When you're good at reading people.
Yes, I am. Which is why I've been able to detect an undercurrent of sarcasm in your voice.
You'll know a short our money is in good hands.
You don't think this is a very good plan, do you?
James Bond in this situation is the perfect example. He's calm, witty, and often slow to respond, and even some of the questions he decides not to respond at all. He doesn't react sporadically or fidgety. He's very calm and collected the entire time. And once again, he is completely present for the conversation. Now, this level of confidence and not needing to be validated by another person only comes from within. And it's a level that James Bond has reached because of this next point. Be capable. James Bond can walk into a room and immediately command respect without saying a word. This is the aura that he carries, the demeanor that he has with him, and it's something that has to be earned. You cannot fake it. Confidence often comes with confidence, and James Bond is absolutely confident, and he knows it. When you're good at a lot of things and you know it, it shows. The way you talk, walk, carry yourself, it all transforms. It's a quiet confidence that commands the respect of everyone in the room because you are capable. And capable people are valuable and respected. But what's more important than what other people think of you is how you think of yourself. Which brings me to number 9, think highly of yourself.
And the Oscar goes to Robert Downey Jr.
This is the first Oscar win for Robert Downey Jr. and his 3rd nomination.
When you're capable, confident, knowledgeable, and you have all of the other skills that we've already talked about, you will think highly of yourself. And when you have this mindset,
you had to convince Chris to take the role of Captain America. Was that difficult to talk him into that?
You know, that's great. In hindsight, I get to take credit for everything, right? There's no Marvel Cinematic Universe without me. Yeah, I did everything.
It shows. The question you need to ask yourself is, if you don't respect yourself, how can you expect other people to respect you? And part of building self-respect is this last one, number 10, be a man of your word. When you follow through on your word, this is one of the fastest ways to build self-respect. You know exactly who you are, you know what you stand for, and you know that you're someone that follows through on what you say. And other people will respect this as well because they know that you're someone that they can depend on, that will follow through on your word. This is also important because it will change the way that you speak. Because when you believe your own words, your words carry weight with them. And when you speak, other people can tell that you mean it, and you know that you mean it. And when you're this type of person that embodies all of these things, this absolutely commands respect regardless of how quiet you are. And now that you know how to command respect, you need to know some secrets to being more charismatic, which is exactly why I made this next video for you. I'll see you over there.